welcome back to my channel. Apologies, I haven't been able to do quite so many videos lately because my mental health is really bad at the moment, and basically my OCD has been getting really bad, and it's meant that I just haven't had the time really to do as many videos as possible. But I am trying to get therapy for this. I'm on the waiting list for NHS therapy, and yeah, and I really need to try and overcome my COVID issues because a lot of this OCD is as a result of just being like stuck at home and going stir crazy, and it's kind of basically my anxiety is just escalating and lots more panic attacks than usual and just feeling very on edge, and it's just got a lot worse, my mental health. I am trying to help myself as much as I can in the meantime by pushing through, but you know, the nature of OCD, I don't want to go into the details of the OCD yet because I don't really feel like I want to because it's still very raw. This isn't COVID OCD, but I have COVID OCD as well. This is another OCD which is affecting me at home, and it means that basically, although I do push myself through tasks, it's taking a really long time because of the anxiety. So yeah, it's really difficult. But I'm trying to stay as level-headed as possible. It is so hard. OCD is a horrible illness, really, seriously, it's horrible. But yeah, let me know any of you who've got any strategies for dealing with negative thoughts and what you find useful. That would be great in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear other people's experiences. Anyway, in today's video, I want to talk about quite an interesting commotion, shall we say, has occurred recently on social media around, specifically Twitter, around Judy Singer. Now, Judy Singer, for those who don't know, coined the term neurodiversity back in 1998. She has kind of taken the credit really for the neurodiversity movement, although that's a little bit not really very accurate. Like, she's sort of jumped on the bandwagon because the neurodiversity movement pre-existed Judy Singer. It really came about more from like the early 90s, I think, sort of autistic self-advocacy movements. Judy Singer coined the term neurodiversity. She gave a name to the movement, but the movement was already there. Judy Singer just sort of popularised it because she wrote about it in her thesis. So she's Australian and she's a sociologist, and she wrote about it in her thesis about the birth of this new movement. And as I say, she coined the term neurodiversity as a way of describing. Well, she used it as a kind of analogy. Sorry, put it another way. She used it as an analogy. We'll use that word as an analogy to biodiversity, which she said, which is essential to ecosystem stability. She said that neurodiversity may be essential for cultural stability. So yeah, she modelled, that's the word to use, modelled the term after the word biodiversity. Anyway, we'll get on to that. The commotion that's occurred on Twitter is because Singer said some things which she shouldn't have said and which were silly about trans people, and consequently has basically been accused of transphobia, and and she's had to shut down her Twitter account and things like that. And it's like the neurodiversity movement is now like completely severing all links to her, and so on. So my own views on it, yeah, having seen what she's written, obviously it was pretty insensitive in today's climate, and I mean, yeah, was basically, I would agree that it did come across and could be seen as transphobic, but I do think that oh yes, because she said here, basically what she said is that she was forced to delete her Twitter account after sharing her TERF views. She attacked transgender community, or attacked. That's what people have said. Maybe I don't know. I think attacked is possibly a bit stronger word, but anyway, we'll say what they said. Attacked the transgender community. Quote tweeted J.K. Rowling. Actually, what Singer said, by the way, makes J.K. Rowling look positively. Well, personally, I don't think what J.K. Rowling said was transphobic. Actually, J.K. Rowling just said that a biological woman. I can't remember what she said now. That a biological woman can only exist in comparison to a man or something like that. I can't exactly remember what she said now. But anyway, it was construed as transphobic. I don't think J.K. Rowling was transphobic or trying to be transphobic. Yes, she does have views which are gender critical and things like that. Obviously, I'm not a trans person, so you know, I don't. If I was a trans person, I may well see this very differently. Okay, I am obviously biased by the fact I'm not a trans person. But having seen what J.K. Rowling said, I don't think personally that it really was as transphobic as what people were making out. And obviously the reaction against her, I just think it was over the top. But with Judy Singer, yes, this is more blatant, and definitely I think could be seen as crossing over the line into transphobia when she said that that there's no such thing as a trans woman. Personally, yes, that definitely is transphobic. To say there's no such thing as a trans woman is transphobic, because obviously you're erasing them, and obviously, you know, trans is a valid thing. So yes, that is transphobic. It's not something I would say. It was rather silly of her, but we have to at the same. So I can understand, particularly obviously like trans people. Bear in mind, I'm not a trans person, so I don't have a sort of an emotional connection to this. And I probably would be a lot more hurt by this if I was trans, obviously, because I'm not a trans person. But we have to. But at the same time, I do feel that the neurodiversity movement is kind of being very, very, very over the top in its reaction. Like, yes, what she said was silly. Yes, what she said could definitely be seen as being transphobic, but you have to put this in context as well. Like, she's an elderly woman, she's in her early 70s now. Now, a lot of people of that generation will think things that the younger generation will see as insensitive. It's like a generational thing. Lots of people of that generation, because they haven't grown up around. They haven't grown up around in a sort of more progressive climate that we live in. They haven't grown up in that, so some of them are still quite traditionalist in their views. That's not to condone it, but you do have to try and think also of the context. And so I'm not trying to apologise for what she said. I don't condone it. I'm just trying to say that I do feel that maybe the neurodiversity movement was a little bit over the top in its severing its links from her. What else am I trying to say? But at the same time, I can understand why the trans community in particular would be very upset by what she said. So I do understand why they would be upset, as I think obviously if I was a trans person I would be upset too. What am I trying to say? So yeah, so that's good debacle. I do think it was a bit extreme when I accuse her of neo-Nazism, though. That is extreme. She's not a Nazi. People often bring out the neo-Nazi claim whenever someone says something that's politically incorrect or hurtful to a particular group. People always bring out the neo-Nazi claim. And I think that is just a bit extreme, because Nazism, I mean, I studied Nazism when I was at university. Nazism is a very particular ideology, and just because someone says something that isn't progressive doesn't make them a neo-Nazi, because neo-Nazism is neo-Nazism, yeah, it's a whole ideology basically, which will almost certainly include transphobia and other things like that, but it's more than some of its parts, it's a whole ideology. And obviously what Singer said was not a progressive thing to say, it was a reactionary thing to say. I 100% agree that it was a reactionary thing to say. Of course trans women exist, trans women is a thing. It was a reactionary, bigoted thing of her to say, it was a silly thing for her to say, but that does not make her a neo-Nazi. So that is quite an extreme thing, and I think that's just kind of like, yeah, fueling, putting fan on the flames, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to move over to video number 2 now, actually, because I just want to... So that, as I say, so that was the debacle that's happened, and I'm sort of watching on the sidelines because I'm not a member of the diversity community anyway, so watching it fall apart is a little bit schadenfreude, shall we say. Moving over to video number 2, because I now just want to talk about something else that Judy Singer has been talking about now. Obviously what she said about the trans community was 100% wrong and very bigoted, and I agree that it was transphobic, but that doesn't mean that what she has to say on other things aren't worthy of discussion. So now moving over to video number 2, I just want to talk about that. Okay, video number 2 now.